the Disc Golf Guy, and I've caught up with Kyle Klein, Andrew Cornwell, and Joel Bibble, Rob McNeal, Andrew Wallen. And Andrew, tell us about your next-gen experience here this weekend.
It was awesome.
This has been amazing. This has been the best weekend tournament I've played.
It's been great. The courses here have been fantastic and a lot of fun. First time I got a chance to play gold was today, so that was interesting, playing it blind, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the course.
It was really fun. It's like the food in between, the lunches, it was great, and the tournament staff are awesome.
Next Gen is amazing, you know, just the way they treat you, great courses. They're killing it. So this is the main what I wanted, really, get a shot at Fountain Hills.
Hey guys, we are back for the Next Gen event number 3 here in Crown Point, Indiana. We are at the Lemon Lake County Park, and for this final 9, we are going to be playing a mixture of the red, blue, and gold course here. So let's get on into it.
Will be blue 18 right here, followed by 1 red.
And here we have Dave just giving the course overlay to everybody, including the competitors.
Followed by 14 red. Followed by 13 blue.
Kind of a little hard to hear.
Then over
I know
to
he's
gold
kind
1.
of playing hide and seek behind
Then
that
over
tree.
to gold 18. Back across the bridge to blue 14. And the peninsula hole here on blue 15 to finish in front of everybody. All right, shake hands.
Always nice to see some good camaraderie before the round. Everybody's excited to play this final 9. Everyone wants to put on a show.
Okay, hey, all right.
I have personally played these courses before in years past, and they are honestly a ton of fun. So I'm pretty jealous that they get to play these.
Mr. Rob McNeal.
It looks like it's a little bit windy. Rob is going to be kicking it off for us here on hole 1 of the final 9. It is going to be a par 3 at 390 feet. This is actually blue 18. Does a great shot. A little bit of hyzer flip, stands up, finishes probably just outside the circle, just about.
Let's welcome at 23 under par, Mr. Andrew Wallen.
Next up is Andrew. All these guys are going to have a lot of wind in their face, it looks like. And he gets that one turned over just a little bit. And it just needed to miss that tree to come back, but I mean, it still kicked him out, so he's going to have a look, I would say, to have at least a birdie putt.
At 23
he's
under,
it's better than going off into the woods.
Let's welcome Kyle Klein.
And then next up, Kyle Klein, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I've never heard of him before, but he can throw. It's really cool to see somebody out of Grand Rapids. Of course, Michigan being where I'm from, not Grand Rapids.
All the way from
basically throwing a 400-foot pure hyzer, it looked like.
Let's welcome
so yeah, it's a great shot to have. Great shot to have. And next up, we have Joel Bibble. I think he goes by Jay, but on the scene, it is Joel. And this guy just kind of basically standstills this shot. Doesn't get it over, or maybe not to the right as much as he wants, but he's still out there. He's still going to have probably a long look for a 2.
Generation in Arizona, from Pittsburgh, Indiana, at 28 under par. Let's welcome Mr. Andrew Cornwell.
And this guy I have seen play before because I did do the video from last year's Next Generation event, and he won out there, and it was actually here in Michigan at Fallisburg in Grand Rapids. And this guy is just super consistent, very methodical, and I was just super impressed with seeing how he was playing before. Everything was the exact same. Unfortunately, he did come up a little short on his putt there. Here's Joel, again from outside the circle. Wants to get this a run, but just a little short of it. But you can't be too upset with that. Getting a 2 on this hole to start would be great. Here we have Andrew, also coming up just a little bit short. And then Rob for the second closest drive. Let's see if he can grab this too. And he for sure does. A little high on the chains, but hey, man, in is in. That is a great start for Rob there. And then an even closer drive. Again, with the like a pretty pure hyzer all the way to this hole. I know it looked a little bit downhill, but still, it's an impressive shot, and he grabs the birdie too. Everybody else is just going to be tapping out for 3 as we move on to the next hole, which is going to be on the red course, hole number 1. And then Joel just to tap out with everybody else. Great start for everybody, especially for Kyle and Rob there. So as you can see, Rob is 22 for the event, Andrew is 28, Kyle is 24, Andrew Wallen is at 23, and Joel is at 25. So again, hole 2 for the final 9. It is 309 feet. Looks like it's a big turnover. I have not seen this hole in quite some time. And then Kyle going with a big sidearm. I was about to say hyzer sidearm. I guess that would make sense too, because that is what he did. It looked like a really good shot. Andrew Wallen up next, looking to follow suit. Again, looks like a pretty good shot. Maybe just a little inside. As you can see, the branch that he cut off there. And then Joel with a very unique just walk into it. He is a very tall, lanky man, so he's basically just one big slingshot. And then Andrew also going with the sidearm. Kind of gets over on that one a little bit, but is overstable enough to get back. So everybody, I would say, would seem to have a look for a birdie too. This guy, he's having a difficult time in the bush there. He did come up a little short. That was Andrew Wallen, by the way. Here is Joel, right just inside the circle. Kind of fluffed that one a little bit. And then here's Rob for the second birdie in a row. And also just a little bit short. Needed like 1 more inch of verticality there. Andrew Cornwell up next. I would imagine he's going to be getting this one. Absolutely. Again, like I said, this guy is very methodical. He's very consistent in everything that he does in this sport, which is a good thing to have. And then here's Kyle. Let's see if he can get, go 2 for 2. And he for sure does. And then everybody else is just going to be tapping out for 3 again as we're moving on to the next hole. The next hole is going to be a safari hole. It is red hole, or hole 2 on the red course to red 13's basket. So this one I am unsure of what the distance is and what the par is, but it is a fairly long hole. Actually plays pretty cool. But Kyle kind of gets this one turned over just a little too much. And we got Andrew up next. A little bit of an early release, but he gets lucky enough to get through everything there. Kind of hit that weird little window over that bush. Let's see what Rob can do. Also doing kind of the same thing and a little lower. So far, not the best tee shots, I would say. All these guys I know can get way out there. And this hole definitely looks really attackable for these guys. They're just kind of not giving it a chance. Also, it is a safari hole that they've never played before, too. So, definitely is probably in their head. And then last, we have Joel. Kind of taking the same route as Andrew Cornwell. Through that tiny little opening on the left side, just barely above the bushes. As you can see, he's got to take a knee to get to the hole. Just kind of looks like he's playing a placement shot. Here's Kyle. Again with a big sidearm. There's a really good shot there from Kyle. And then Joel again, just looking to get up near the basket. Hits the trees that are guarding the basket, but he's right there. He should be sitting good for a pretty close putt. And then here's Andrew throwing a hyzer up there, a little bit short, but definitely within putting range. And then Rob throwing an out of production disc now, a Vibram, some kind of putter. I'm not sure what it would be. And then Andrew Wallen, looking like he's throwing a harp or something like that. That would be my guess. But they both throw some very good shots approaching the basket. And then here is Joel for his 4. Just a little long of the basket, but he makes good on that. It was a very nice recovery from him from where he was at, especially where his tee shot put him. And then Andrew Cornwell again. See if he can get this one. Unfortunately, just a little short, but that's okay. There's definitely a few more holes to be playing where he can make up a couple strokes, even though he doesn't necessarily need to, because he's already killing it for this event. Kyle makes a really nice putt there. Next up is Rob. I would imagine this one's going to be going in. This one's pretty close. And it sure does. Everybody else is going to be cleaning up some 4s. I'm sorry, Andrew the 4. Andrew Cornwell, that is. Alright, and there you have it. And Andrew and Joel with the 4s, everybody else with some great 3s there. Up next is hole 4. This is red 14 at 478 feet. It is a par 4. And you pretty much want to go exactly where Kyle is, I would say. There is room for more attacking of this hole. You just have to get riskier with the trees. The basket is just past the gap that you see there in the middle, but to get that extra distance, you got to give it some more height and some more flex. Kind of what Andrew's doing here, but it just kind of falls out of the sky a little bit. And maybe took it a little too wide, but that's the risk you take when you want to try to get an eagle on this hole, I guess. It's kind of a short par 4. And we have Andrew Cornwell. Looked like he wanted to get a little more out of it, but it kind of turned over a little too quick, which might have been fortunate for him, because being in the wide open is definitely being better than in the woods. And then here is the nonchalant sidearm man. Just going for placement, landing exactly where Cornwell is at, just so he can have a straight-on look, as you can see at the basket there. Personally, I like this play a lot. If you're not actually going for the basket, there's no reason to try to bite off anything huge on this hole. It looks like he's just throwing a putter approach there. Comes up just a little short, but definitely within putting. It's a pretty nice approach. And Andrew Cornwell, again with a putter approach himself, but just maybe a little bit too turned over. He's going to have a longer look than Joel, I would say. And then here is Kyle with basically a picture-perfect way of how to play this hole for that 3. Throwing a hyzer, followed by a hyzer, and then basically a tap-in putt, I would imagine. And then Rob just kind of pitching out there, trying to make something happen. Same thing here with Andrew. He's kind of off to the left, even though it's not as bad as I thought it would be, judging from where his tee shot looked like it was going. It didn't seem that terrible. With all the trees, that is. And there's Rob trying to give that a run for the birdie 3, just a little wide. And then, as I was saying, Andrew's got a longer putt here, and definitely a little more encumbered because of that tree and the stance that he has to take. And that was a very, very good run there. And then Joel with the same putt, just much closer, making it a lot easier to kind of bend it around that tree and give it a better chance. I would say. That would be my guess. And perfect line, just again, just a little short. He's going to have to pick that putter up just a little bit, maybe give it a little more pop or something. And then Andrew with a solid 3 from where he was at and then where he put his second shot and making a kind of a testy putt there. That's pretty impressive. And then Rob just cleaning up for 4. And then same with everybody else except for Kyle. Kyle is also going to be getting a picture perfect 3 on this hole. As Cornwell taps out. And Kyle with his, I don't know, like 6-footer, 5-footer. Whatever it is, just reach in, put it in the bucket. And now we are moving on to hole 5, which is blue hole 13. And this hole, all right, blue hole 13, hole 5 for this final 9 is a 689-foot par 5. And this hole is so cool in my opinion, so much fun to play. Obviously because it is a longer hole. It is a par 5, so you are going to be throwing a couple placement shots. You aren't necessarily going to be getting all the way to the green off the tee. And if you are a monster. But that's a very select few, if any, at all in the world ever. So these guys are throwing some good drives. Rob there is just a little short, kind of burns out, but that's okay. It's again a placement shot hole, so kind of wherever you end up, you're gonna be able to make up with one of the following shots. And Andrew Cornwell throwing a very good shot. I would say that would be the ideal spot. Up next is Joel, kind of following the same line, just a little bit short, but that's okay. Again, making these shots up with distance and very, very good accuracy on these second shots, because the second shot is very technical, as you saw there. Rob kind of yanked it to the right a little bit maybe, but he did clip those trees. Same thing here with Joel, almost kind of throwing it directly into the woods. And here's Cornwell looking to go straight up the gut, I would imagine. Exactly like that. That is a very, very nice shot. That's exactly what you want to do, and that's how you can make up with a maybe not so stellar tee shot, is doing something like that. And then here is Rob throwing again. Making it all the way down there, it looks like. That was a very nice shot. And then Andrew Wallen going with a roller and then trying to bite everyone's ankles in the pavilion. Looks like he smacked a couple of the tables around. Everybody's going to look to see if this is in play. And before we get up there, Kyle is going to be throwing his shot. Kind of clips a tree, but he's still down there. He might have a look, maybe just a long approach for trying to make an eagle or something like that. Joel's going to be going with an overhand. Looks like a tomahawk. And he also gets up there. He's going to be putting himself. And Andrew is going to be teeing from inside the pavilion, so I'm guessing that is good, seeing as he was allowed to throw from there. And he threw a pretty nice upshot. Yeah, and Joel was a little shorter than I thought. Definitely would be able to give this a run. It's just a very long, kind of sketchy throw, because it does kind of go downhill a little bit behind the basket there. Same thing with Rob. I would imagine all these guys, they want to give this a bid, but I would say it's maybe a little too long to try and get it. But it looks like Kyle's going to try to give this one a bid, because that would be a sick eagle. Again, I mean, a par 5 at just short of 700 feet. That's a pretty short par 5 maybe. And he just kind of spits out the left side. He does have a pretty solid hyzer putt, and he just kind of glanced off the front, it looks like. And Andrew Cornwell just off the top band, unfortunately. That was for his eagle, but again, Kyle and Andrew, they're both going to have tap-in birdie 3s. I'm sorry, birdie 4s on this hole. And unfortunately, Rob is missing that putt. He is going to be coming back for, I believe, a 6. Unfortunately. Does make good. And then everybody else is just close enough to be tapping out. And again, these courses in this county park are absolutely gorgeous and so much fun to play. And if you haven't played these courses and you're close enough, I would highly suggest you go and checking these out. Definitely bring a couple extra discs because it is wooded. There are long holes, there are hills, so you could lose some discs. But it's definitely worth going and checking out. Even if you're not close to the area, this is something where on a road trip, this is one you want to stop at and play as many of the courses as you can. First, I would say Gold. Gold is probably my favorite. So on the next hole, we are on the 6th hole for the final 9. This is Gold Hole 1. And this hole is 355 feet. This is kind of a tough hole. It looks seemingly easy-ish off the tee. I know it looks a little more difficult on video, obviously. But there's a crazy hill that the basket is kind of playing on, if I'm remembering correctly. But these guys are throwing some really good turnovers. Up next is Andrew Cornwell. I'm guessing he's throwing maybe a buzz or something of that caliber. Maybe a little low, but he gets it around the corner to the right. That is the biggest thing that you need to do on this hole, is actually get it around the corner towards the bucket. And then Joel, not sure what he's throwing there. It looked kind of like a faster disc, but it looked like it got around the corner, then maybe hit a tree, clipped a tree, and then went to the left a little. And then next up is Rob, kind of hanging that out to the left a little much. And kind of Anheuser's through everything through the woods? Question mark? And Andrew Wallen just kind of pitching out there, looking to get a 3. And this is, as you can see, is kind of a crazy hill. It goes, like, you're throwing uphill, but then it goes downhill at the basket. It's kind of a really tough one to get to, maybe. Then we have Rob here, again, just laying up, pitching out from that spot. Got pretty fortunate, I would say, with all the trees that he was trying to fight through. And then Andrew Wallen again, just trying to get up there, get off this hole. Looks like he's going to be taking a 4. Joel with actually a very, very nice drive on this hole. It is pretty long. I know it is only 355 feet, but with how technical it seems to be, that is a pretty good shot. And then Kyle with the best drive on this hole, arguably, wants to give this a run. Looked very good, just maybe a little short, not enough power, not enough pop off the wrist. But he's still going to be right there for a 3. And then great putt there from Joel for his 3. And then up next, looks like we have Andrew Wallen. And I believe that is for his 4. Still a very nice putt there. And then maybe Andrew, no, we have Kyle. And this is one, again, I would imagine this one's going in. This is close enough to where it's kind of a no-brainer, no-thinker. And same thing for Cornwell here. Again, very methodical in his approach to any shot. He doesn't seem to ever rush anything. He always sticks to his routine and executes it as such. And then on to the next hole. We are on hole 7. This is Gold Course hole 18. 18. And this hole is another par 4. It is 530 feet, very technical. Again, one of those where you want to get around the bend to the right and get yourself set up for a less technical-ish second shot. I don't know. You'll see. You'll see when we get down this fairway. Unfortunately, Cornwell grabs a couple trees there. Let's see if Joel can do any better. Again, Mr. Nonchalant. Looked like it was going to be really good. He just needed to miss that tree, but it was pulled a little inside, so he smacks it, goes across the fairway to the left. And then Rob, almost doing ideally what you want, but I would say you want that turned a little quicker. You want that flight path. You want it turned a little more immediately. And then Andrew Wallen doing more of what you want, I would say, but again, it's just maybe they're just not throwing flippy enough discs. It's kind of a tough tee shot. And then here we have the forest. I'm not sure who's back there right now. I think it's Rob. I think that was Rob who just pitched out. Or no. I think that was Joel. I'm pretty sure that was Joel. Hard to tell. Up next, we have Kyle. Kind of pitching out. As you can see, this is very wooded with all these kind of toothpicky trees. We got Kyle again. Unfortunately, it's pretty tough, but he does get up there towards the bucket where he's going to have a putt for his 4. And then right here, I believe this is Rob? Looked like Rob. Andrew and Rob are both wearing blue shirts, and that big tree was covering his head, so it's hard to tell. This is definitely Andrew Cornwell throwing a sidearm, kind of clipping a tree, but he's going to have a long look for a 3. And then here's Joel again, and unfortunately going to be clipping that tree and going to have a long putt for, I believe, his 4. And then Andrew almost throwing that in with a sidearm roller looking thing. Unfortunately does roll away, but I know he was trying to just kind of lay it up there next to the basket. It's just with what he had to work with, that looked like all he really had, at least what he was comfortable with throwing. So here's Andrew with a long putt, and he nails it. That's sick. That's really sick. Very nice putt from Andrew there. And here we have Kyle for his 4, looking to match Cornwell. And unfortunately just really fluffs that one. Doesn't pop it off the wrist or anything. Just kind of throws it at the ground. Unfortunately, that's a tough one. Because you can make those, but sometimes you get worked a little bit and you just leave them short. And then here's Joel from downtown in the forest, behind the tree, through the woods, with another super sick putt. I would say that was probably even better than Andrew's. Even though it was for a worse score, I mean, they were both really good putts, honestly. Those are some nasty putts. And then Andrew Wallen didn't go too far into the woods with the roller, but he does come up off the band, so unfortunately he's going to be taking a 5, I believe. And then Kyle just kind of sneaking that one in there. And then we have Rob and Andrew just tapping out. And as we move on to hole 8, and hole 8 is going to be on the blue course, hole number 14. I'm sorry, Andrew did get a 4, not a 5. Kyle is the one who got a 5. I am sorry. So hole 8 is 330 feet. It is a par 3. It is kind of through this ravine, then off to the right. That is why you see a lot of these guys throwing sidearms. It's kind of tough to get there on this hole on a turnover, at least for me when I was playing this, like probably 4 years ago when I was there. But as you see, Rob is going with the turnover, and that looks pretty ideal. We'll see where he actually ends up. People definitely like it because they're clapping. That is a good signal to know that you've thrown a very nice shot. Andrew Wallen up next, also going with the turnover. That one looks a little high, a little tight. It's hard to tell if it actually clipped any of the trees or not, but we're going to see here soon. And then, no surprise, Kyle is going to go with the sidearm as well on this hole. And this one looks really nice. He just, unfortunately clips that tree, so it just denies him real hard. So first approach here from Andrew Cornwell. Taking that right side. Can't really see it, but he does get up there by the basket. Basket is guarded a lot by these trees. Andrew Wallen does have a long look, but just comes up a little short. And then, yeah, Rob has proven me wrong that a turnover isn't impossible on this hole, as he nails a very nice, probably, I don't know, circle's edge birdie putt. Very nice job. Thanks for proving me wrong. I appreciate that. And then here we have Joel. It's kind of a cool looking angle. In my opinion, that is. But he makes good for that too. Very nice. Definitely needed that. And then Kyle with probably the best drive of the group. I'm sorry, I thought I saw the drive get knocked down by the tree, but I was again wrong, as he makes a by the books birdie 2 on this hole, I would say. And then the last two guys are just going to be cleaning up their threes. Andrew followed by Andrew. As we move on to the final hole for this final 9, which is going to be blue number 15. As you can see, all the scores there, everybody is placing very well, and this is for placement overall for the Next Generation Tour, not for this event alone. So this final 9 does actually mean something. It's not strictly just for show or just because. I don't know. On to the next hole. Joel is up first with a decent drive. He's going to have a long look for 2. Rob up next, looking to get up there. This is kind of a scary hole, as it is kind of on a peninsula. You have the road OB on the right and then sidewalk OB on the left. And Rob kind of catches that tree there. Let's see if Andrew can put a good move on this one. I kind of like the look of this, but it's just kind of a little short. Maybe he was trying to just play for 3. I would imagine, since he is kind of in the lead of everything, just playing it safe. Andrew Wallen looks like he's getting aggressive on this one, and he for sure is. Just didn't get it turned over enough. Definitely had the distance for it, but he is going to be left, as the nice gentleman there is going to be spotting where he was last in bounds. But it will be the group officials' call on where it went out of bounds. And then Kyle there coming up just a little short. I would imagine he was trying to get that a little closer, but hey man, just trying to get a 3 on this hole with how scary where the green is pretty key. If you get a 2 on this one, you're beasting it. So first approach here is by Cornwell. The nice little sidearm there under the bucket. Very stress-free. Well, a very stress-free 3. It's kind of a tongue twister. And then here is Kyle. Let's see if he gives this one a run for 2. It looks like he is going to be doing just that. Or maybe not? Question mark. Maybe the nerves got to him there a little bit, because he's going to have a very long tester for a 3 there now. And then up next is Joel. And he's just laying it up as well. He's going to be taking a pretty easy 3. Next is Rob. Rob also looking to just lay up. And then I would imagine Kyle is going to be up next. And he is going to be putting for 3 from, I would say, roughly circle's edge. Definitely not where you want to be after your second shot. And unfortunately just comes up short on that. He is going to be taking a 4. And then I believe we missed Andrew's shot. But he did tap in for a circle 3. If that would have stayed in bounds. No, here we go. Now Andrew is going to be tapping out for a circle 3. My apologies. But a circle 3 is great. If that's how it plays, that's a pretty good play, I would say. If you're able to go out of take your shot from where it was last in bounds, I would say maybe throwing how Andrew threw, or maybe even a hyzer that maybe skips out and just taking it from his last in bounds and just taking an easy 3 that way. That would be a pretty neat play too. As everybody taps out here, leaving Andrew Cornwell to tap out last, as he is the winner of this event and the final 9. Coming in with a stellar 30 under par, as he thanks the gallery and all of his competitors. Everybody had a good time. I mean, you couldn't ask for better weather here, seemingly, other than it was just kind of windy, but these guys got to play some really good golf on some really awesome courses, and these guys killed it. These guys all killed it. I mean, they all made the final 9, whether they were in 1st or 5th place. I mean, you're still in 1st or 5th place. As you can see, Rob is 22 down for the event. Andrew Cornwell is 30 under. Kyle is 25 under. Andrew at 24 under. And Joel at 25 under as well. So thank you guys for joining me on this venture through the 3rd Next Generation Tour Premier event, the Midwest. Up next is going to be the Next Gen Tour Premier event for Central, which is going to be September 1st through the 2nd. So be sure to check that out. And be sure to check out the Next Generation Tour website. If this is something that is maybe in your area that you want to play and get into, I would highly suggest your chance in winning the event and going to Arizona or qualifying to make it to Arizona and compete there. Anyways, thanks again, guys. We will see you in the next one.